It goes against every ounce of logic in my being to think that a minimum wage is good for people or an economy. Yet people in Congress and even everyday folks on the street seem to think it's a good idea. Well, let me explain in very clear terms how minimum wage is bad for the economy. The first thing that will happen when this new minimum wage goes through is that the people who aren't worth $7.25 an hour will be fired. Then the real damage happens. If you're a minimum wage proponent, I would ask you what a fair minimum wage should be. Is it $7.25 an hour? I don't know anyone who makes that, and everyone I know is complaining about how little they make. Maybe it should be $10 an hour, like it is at most Walmarts. Not good enough? Maybe it should be $20 an hour. That would make a lot of people happy. I bet it'd be a pay raise for most of the people watching this. I have an idea. Let's make the minimum wage $100 an hour. That would make 98% of the people in the US happy. What would happen with such a minimum wage? Everyone would be fired. Everyone except for the very necessary employees. Then companies who couldn't afford them would raise their prices so that the consumer gets to bite the big one. Inflation would skyrocket and there would eventually be 70% unemployment and nothing being produced in this country. Kind of sounds like Sweden or something like that. Well, if this progression is reasonable to see happening, if the wage was up to $100 an hour, it isn't so far-fetched to see how raising it by a small percentage would move slightly closer to the doomsday scenario described above. Artificial regulations on a free market always hurt the market in the long run. I feel like most people need to go back to Economics 101 and get over this blind pseudo-altruism that helps them cope with the fact that they're driving their Beamers over the raggedy blanket of some smelly-ass bum sticking out his hands for some spare change as long as it's more than a $5 bill, or some food as long as it's not Italian. People complain that they can't live on $5 an hour. Well, I have an idea. Get another freaking job that pays more. Or I got it. Maybe pick up a skill like smiling and request more from your fat minimum wage paying boss. But I don't buy that people can't live on $5 an hour. People can live on much less than that. 3 billion humans live on less than $5 a day. It's just that they eat less and have flies all over their face. My point is, yes, people can live on $5 an hour, but they won't be able to eat at Benihana every night or support their smoking habit while putting up 3 kids. And come to think of it, who are these people making minimum wage? They're typically kids in high school with no one to support, immigrants, I won't get into the legality of these peeps, or lousy bums. In the case of the kids, they're working for school or extra spending cash. In the case of the immigrants, they may need to work to support a family, but they're hardworking enough and can keep a job. They're going to get a raise every year no matter what they're doing, eventually making a great deal more than minimum wage. Bums who can't keep a job don't deserve money for doing nothing. I worked at plenty of jobs making minimum wage, and I never complained about getting too little. I just acquired the skills and got a better job. It was a great learning experience. Entry-level jobs aren't meant for permanent employment. That's why they're called entry-level. To sum it up, people making minimum wage can get by or make some sacrifices to move up in the world. Minimum wage hurts the economy by squeezing small business owners and pushing inflation, which just makes the new minimum wage outdated sooner. Finally, it seems like a lot of people need to go back to economics class. Hope this helps.